Hey everyone, this is Baylor from Scooby-Dooby-Doo on YouTube, and in this video I want to show you how to make clean URLs using PHP and .htaccess. Now, to use .htaccess to make clean URLs, you have to have an Apache server. So most PHP websites are going to be hosted on an Apache server. That's not something you really need to worry about generally, but you may not have an Apache server, and if you don't, then you can't really do this. You'll have to figure out something to do on your own server. So you might be wondering, what is a clean URL? Well, it's kind of like what WordPress does. I think that's the most popular system that really does that. And it makes it so instead of typing something like this, like products.php question mark category ID equals 12, instead of typing something like that, you would do something like products category 12, like that, and that looks much better. It's very easy to read, and it's search engine friendly. So that's what I'm going to show you how to create in this video. Now, I've done a little preparation before I actually do this video, or actually did this video, I guess. I don't know. And I already created this .htaccess file, and I'm going to show it to you. And I'm not an htaccess guru. Now, there are a couple of cheat sheets that you can get. So, like, I have this PDF here that actually kind of shows you what you can do, and you can just kind of Google an Apache or .htaccess cheat sheet and get something like that. Basically, what you really need to know here is making sure that my server has this mod rewrite module, and then we're turning on the rewrite engine, and then we're setting the base. Now, the base is actually the URL that you see in the address bar. So you can see here, I'm actually pointing to, you exclude your actual domain name. You just go for the / whatever directory you have. So I'm working on a website right now where I have like site name / directory. And if I was doing something like that, then I would actually have to type in, well, I didn't mean to open that up. I open it up like in every time I do a screencast. It's really weird. I would do site name / directory. You do this. This is the main directory that you're working in. So in this case, I'm doing clean URLs, and it's you end that with a /. The next thing is this rewrite condition. Now, I don't understand this, but basically we're just making sure we're not looking at a real file and a real directory. And then basically this is a little bit of regular expressions or regex. And basically we're just saying get any character except a line break, and then append that to the end of index.php with a /. Okay? So basically what it's going to do is, like, if I typed in, let me get that clean URLs back up. But if I typed in products / category 12, like that, basically it's going to take this and append it to index.php / and that actually runs. Now, let me create that file before I run that, get a 404, so index.php here. And if I run this, you can see that I was actually able to get this extension. Now, one thing that you can do, and my server doesn't, my HostGator server, I don't know, I don't know how many people actually host a HostGator. I know it's really big and has a lot of people, but basically they don't support this server variable path info. So if you can do this on your server, and if you have it, then that's great, because you'll actually be able to do this a lot faster than I am. But if you do not have this access on your server, then you're going to have to do this little cheat thing that I've done here. Basically, what I can do is if I echo out this server variable path info. Now, I have this on my local server, but I don't have it on my production server. Now, if I reload, you can see that I got this products category 12. Okay, so it only grabbed what I added to the end of PHP. So that should tell you right away that that's something that PHP actually does and kind of supports, because if PHP actually put this into its library, then that's something that it supports. Now, we're actually, because I don't have this, and I need this available on my production server, I'm going to have to come up with a little hack, okay? So basically, what I'm going to do is one thing I can do now is I can just kind of remove that index.php. Don't need that anymore. And this is not still running. I'm not getting 404. If I add that back, this echo, you can see that I still have that working. So that's really cool. So I just want to make sure you know that's still working here. Now what I can do is I'm actually going to create a class. So I'm going to create a folder called this classes. That's just how I roll. I like to put my stuff in a directory called classes. Let's rename that to simple URLs or simple URL, and we'll create a start PHP and create a class. We'll call that simple URL. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually set up a basic thing just to remove what we need to remove in each URL. So I'm going to set up a site path. So first of all, I'm going to include this on my page. I'm going to show you how this would actually run. Basically just say URL equals a new simple URL. And here we're just going to pass in, I'm going to http demo.com/clean URLs. Okay, now you notice I did not add a /. Now we need to add that /. So the way I'm going to do that is let's just create, this will be a variable called site path. And then whenever this function runs, we'll run this constructor function. That's just something I have a snippet for. If you don't have a snippet, it's just function like a normal function, except the function name has to be __ construct. Okay, very simple. And we're just going to pass that site path through this. Okay, now one thing we need to make sure is that the site path ends with a /. That's just something we can do because this is called simple URL. That's the class name. It's designed to work with URLs. So we'll just create a private function here, and we'll call that add slash. Maybe I should make that slash like that. And we'll add our string of text to work with here. Basically, we're just going to say if the string, let me think, I should do, try to remember the best way. I think it's if I, now this is something you need to know. Basically what you can do is if on the normal string of text, this is not an array, if you add an actual square brackets to that and I add a number, I can get characters, okay? So basically, let me just kind of show you this right now. Comment that out. Okay, so basically if I create, make sure this is running. Okay, if I create a variable and I call this string of text, I make this equal to hello world, and I echo up my string here, you can see that I have my hello world. Now if I add my square brackets to this and I say I want to echo up 0, I'm going to get this capital H, okay? 1 would be the O, or E, I'm sorry, I'm not in world. This will be the L. 3 would also be an L. 4 would be an O. 5 would be a space, so I'm going to skip it, go to 6. We get world. Okay, so you get the idea that you can actually access different characters in a string of text. Has to be a string, maybe a number, I'm not sure, you could play with that. I want to make sure, I want to get the very last character. So what I'm going to do is add this, and I'm going to say string length, or string, or strlen for string length for my string of text, and we're going to subtract 1 from that. Okay, now if reload, because I got the very last character. So that's basically what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to copy this and remove it entirely. And then here what I'm going to do is just put that inside of this if. Let me just do this, if. Like that, okay? And we can remove these brackets. And basically we want to see if it's not equal to a /. So if they did not add a /, then we'll just say string append a /. And then when we're done, we'll just return the string of text. Okay? So then here what we'll do is say this add slash. And we'll wrap that in parentheses. Okay, so that's pretty basic stuff, or I think it may not be pretty basic. I don't know what's basic. Yeah. Basically, we're just checking to see, make sure it has a /, and that's just. Yeah, I think this is pretty it should be pretty well known. This is basically for saying string equals string dot /. Okay, So we're just appending a forward slash to the very end of it. So now what I could do is I could come over here and say echo URL site path. Okay, and I reload now. You can see I have clean URLs with a trailing forward slash. If I add it here, okay, and reload, you can see I don't have two. Okay, so that's just an easy way to double check things. Another thing that I could do here, and I'm kind of rambling and going on and on, I'm not getting directly to the point, but I'm just kind of perfecting this, if you will. Basically, what I would like to do, though, is I would like to make it so I don't have to echo out URL and site path. Perhaps it'd be better if I could just say echo out URL. I don't know, but I'm just going to do that real quick. Function, and we'll run toString, and when we try to echo out this class, we'll just return the site path. Okay? Basically, now if I just echo out URL, I get my site path. Well, that didn't work. Oh, I need to return this site path. Okay. And now you can see we've gotten that URL. Okay? It might not be it might not be great. I don't know. I'm just doing it anyways. It's not very difficult to do. Okay, so now that we've actually set up a URL, what we need to do is get the actual, what we're trying to look at here. Okay, this products category 12. So what I'm going to do now is I want to show you how we actually get that URL now the way it is. So if I echo out the server variable again, and I'm going to run request URI. Okay, and I reload this. You can see it's actually grabbed the entire clean URLs, products, category 12, everything here. I only want this products category 12. So the easiest way to do this would just to be remove this clean URLs. But that's not really the way this URL is set up. I mean, I could, I guess, just kind of remove this here. I guess that would be the easiest thing to do. Now, this kind of just ruins my whole video. But I'm going to remove this add slash thing. Remove that. Actually, instead of add, we'll say remove slash, okay? And I'll explain why I'm doing this in a second if you don't know what I'm doing here. And then I'll start explaining now, okay? Basically, what I'm doing, I just noticed this, that when I run this request URI, basically it's giving me everything after the domain name, okay? Or actually, it's called the HTTP host. It's giving me that. So I need to get everything but this, okay? So I'm just stripping it down to this clean URLs here, okay? So whenever I want to get what we have here, I can just replace or remove this text, okay? So what I'm making sure is it doesn't have a trailing forward slash. And the reason we do that is because we need this forward slash to be at the beginning of this part here, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure I don't have it. So the way I'm doing that is I'm getting the last character, saying if it's equal to a forward slash, then I want my string to be equal to, here I'm going to run rtrim, so that's a right trim, and I'm going to replace, I'm looking for this in my string of text, and I'm looking for a forward slash. Okay, so basically it's just going to strip a forward slash off the very end of my string. Okay, so now if I come back over here and echo out my URL, see there's no forward slash. If I added a forward slash, still no forward slash. Okay, so I just reversed that. Okay, so now we can go on to the next part where we actually try to get that URL. So I showed you, or what we're actually looking for. I showed you that we can get this request URI and we can get what we need here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a function, and I'm going to call this segment. And we'll just add a segment here. What we're going to do is we're going to say the URL is equal to server request URI. Okay? And here we'll say, let's just go ahead and do this now. Where we're actually getting this URL, what we'll do is say string replace. We're going to replace this site path with blank inside of our server request URI. So now if I echo out the URL here, okay, and let's just say URL echo URL segment 3 or 1, I guess. Okay, if I reload this, you can see I get this text. So basically what we've done here is we've gotten only what we need here, okay? We have products category 12. Okay, that's all we need. So what I need to do now is split this by the /. So we'll say URL equals explode by a / in our URL. Okay, so what that does is it actually makes an array. So if I return my URL here, okay, and I don't know what this is going to do. Yeah, you can see it's an array. So let me just say test equals this, and I'm just going to say for each test as key equals value. So we'll just echo out each key and add a line break so I can actually distinguish each one. Okay, so you can see we have, I meant value, sorry. Reload. See, we have products, category, and 12. Okay, so it's split each one of these pages. So we know we're on the products page, we're looking at a category, and we're looking at category 12. Okay, so you can see we're able to split these and get individual things. So what we can do with that is, since we're looking for 1, basically we'd be looking for products, 2 would be category, 3 would be 12. Okay, and by that I'm going off this little number. Segment 1 would be products. Okay, so we know we're getting an array, so we just need to look for part of that array. That is done with the little square brackets this time. So I'm just going to say if is set, because I don't want to. If they had just 3 here and they put a number like I want number 5, well, that doesn't exist. Okay, so we have to make sure it is set. So we'll do that. If is set URL segment, and if it is set, then we return that URL segment. Else we'll return false. Now the reason I'm returning false here is because what I want to do is I could say, so let's just go ahead and make this a bit more realistic. So right now if I echo out URL 1, you can see I get products, 2 would be category, 3 would be our ID number. Okay, so what I can do now is let's just remove everything here. And if I was on my normal site, what I might want to do is say, are we looking for a specific page? Okay, so I want to be able to do things like home. Well, if that's not added to the URL, I need to check for it. So the way I'll check for it is I'll say if URL segment 1 is equal to false, then echo load homepage. Now I'm doing that in, like I would normally say, like include homepage file or whatever, or home.php or whatever, but I'm not doing it here because I'm just trying to show you kind of what you would do to make clean URLs. If I reload now, you can see I would load homepage. If I added that, it would still not do that. Oh, if it's equal to false. Or URL segment. Actually, let's do this. It's equal to false or home. Okay, so now if I reload, you can see I get home page. If it's blank, I get nothing. This isn't working. Well, you get the general idea. You could do something like that. That's not a valid, I guess. It's not valid. But basically, that's how you would do clean URLs for basic stuff. If I was saying, like, I would actually probably do like a switch. So, switch through I would say page. Let me do this more realistically. If empty, or actually if URL segment 1, then page equals home, else page equals URL segment 1. Okay, so basically what I can do is echo page, reload, and you can see it's home. If I had a custom page, or if I was on the products page here, you can see it's now switched that page variable. Okay, what I can do now is I can switch through my page, and I could say case home. Then here I would do, let's just say like home page. Okay, then I could do case products. We could echo out products page, and then we'll say default. Default is a 404 page, and we'll break, and then we'll say echo 404 not found. Okay, and now if I reload, see home page, we can go to the products page, and we can also go to contact, and that's 404 not found. Okay, so that's actually how you would do clean URLs. What I would do though is instead of like handling everything for the products page here, I'd actually probably like create a folder, and I would say template, create a file here for products, and then come back over here, and I would say include template products. Okay, and we could say like products page again. So let's go to the products URL, and then if I added this category stuff, what I could do is say products page. Let's add a paragraph so I can separate this. Viewing category, and then we could do that little URL segment 3. Reload. See viewing category 12. Okay, so that's how you could do clean URLs, or that's the way I do clean URLs. Thanks for watching this video, and goodbye.